Hey guys, so where do we go when the storms of life come? We all go somewhere, right? Whenever life gets hard, things are difficult. When I was younger, I think I probably went off to my room on my own for a while, put some music on. I remember doing that, watching my favourite TV show or movie for the 100th time. I think as I got older, I remember going off to the gym. I think for me, it was just going off on my own somewhere, a walk along the beach. One of the things I actually realised I did when I was younger was I used to go to my imagination. Many of us probably do that. Partly when you're on your own, you just start to fantasize and have these thoughts about a better, happier place. For me, it was often off in the sun somewhere. But we all go somewhere when life gets hard. You'll notice right now I'm in my car. Don't have the old summer shed anymore. So for me now, I have this has become my office for a temporary period of time, maybe. But where do we go when life gets difficult? There's a storm today. Storm Chandra or something. High winds, damage caused, flooding in lots of places. It does make people feel uneasy, especially as you get older, maybe in the physical sense, about damage to property or insurance and your car and your house and the contents and all this kind of stuff. It does make you feel uneasy. And look, we keep getting reminders. We're not in control of this life. We can try our best, but the reality is we're not in control. What do we do when we sense that we don't have any control, that things are very difficult? Again, I've mentioned recently we moved before Christmas. It put a bit of challenges came our way with where do we move? How do we find a house? What about getting our own house? How do we pay for this new house every month? What do I do about work and finances and kids and upheavals and many thoughts, schools, all sorts of stuff going on in my head, and I felt out of my control. And I've shared before, it makes me tend to get a bit, I don't feel panicked or anxious, but I just work harder, and that doesn't bring out the best in me. So where do you go when times get hard? Reading today in Isaiah chapter 34 about difficult times, prophecies of God's judgment to come. God was saying, look, times are going to get hard. There has to be consequences for the way you're living, for these nations. But then he says at the end about the word of the Lord will be made certain. The end of chapter 34, what he said will happen. And it got me thinking, where do I go? Where should we go when times are difficult? The word of the Lord stands firm. It won't change. It's always going to be there. It's there to instruct and guide us. Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth someone come up with. But Matthew 24:35, Jesus said it himself, look, even heaven and the earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. It reminded me of being a young man when life was difficult, very hard for me, and I came to Matthew 7:24, I think it is, the wise and foolish builders. And I read there about how the word of God is in different people's lives as they deal with storms. But the one that will have a firm foundation is the one who hears that word and then does it. Not just reads it, not just knows it, not just memorizes it, but actually puts it into practice. I encourage us today to make the word of God our foundation, the place that we turn to, the thing that we think about, we meditate on. But as I just said, we then try to put it into practice, and we'll see and reap the rewards in our life. Not immediately, not the way we want necessarily, but we will reap the rewards and have a firm anchor when the storms come.